Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. This is a reading today, Sagittarius, for you Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising Sagittarians. If you don't know where those placements are, there will be a free natal chart link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out for yourselves. So if this reading, which is a general reading, doesn't resonate with you Sagittarius, you can then go and look and see whether your rising or your Venus or your moon sign reading makes more sense to you. Plus, it's always good to know your own natal astrological makeup as well, because then you can maybe also understand more about yourself on a deeper level, and also what's happening within the bigger picture of the universe at this time as well. So Sagittarius, you recently have had the moon's node, the south node, move into your chart, into your sign, sorry. So for those of you who have got the moon's node in your chart, it's there every 18 years. So 18 years ago would have been 2001. And then you'd go back another 18 or 18 and a half years, and so on and so forth. So you can also check that out as well to see whether or not you actually have the node in your sign, because it will make a difference with it being in your sign now for the next 18 months as well. So we also have all of the big major planets, well not all of them actually, but the we have Saturn, we have Pluto, and we have Jupiter, which is your ruling planet Sagittarius, about to go retrograde tomorrow, and we also have Venus just go retrograde today as well. So big shift of energy occurring over this last 2.5, 3 weeks. We've had some kind of big shifting of energies. Pluto going reverse or retrograde on the 25th of April as well. That's kind of shifted energies. And so for the next 6 months we're going to have all the big planets, I say all again, kind of Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter, which I consider to be the major big kind of players really in many ways. And also Venus is going to be retrograde in Gemini for the next 4 months as well. So Gemini being your opposite sign, Sagittarius, that's also going to have an effect on you as well. So for you cross watchers as well who are interested in a Sagittarius, this reading may also be your story rather than their story. So just be aware of that as well, cross watchers, that it's not always about the person that you're actually watching it for. Sometimes it can actually be your own story that you're listening to. And I would just like to say, as I said yesterday in the Scorpio reading that I did, I'm not going to censor myself on things that I feel quite strongly need to be said. So I don't want to offend anybody, but at the same time I'm not going to hold back, I'm not going to censor my reading, because I don't want to kind of upset or offend any of you out there. But I'm also, that goes for Sagittarius and Sagittarius cross watchers as well, but I'm also not prepared to kind of sugarcoat things. It's not a candy floss reading, so if you're looking for that type of reading, then there's plenty of other tarot channels out there. Talking of which, if you do like my reading, could you like it up for me, thumbs it, because it does help to get it out into the bigger YouTube world, where people can kind of see it. It's all about the algorithms on YouTube, so the more people that see it, the more people return to the channel, the more the messages get heard, and the bigger audience it can have, more people can come back to my channel and subscribe as well. So it really does help if it has got a thumbs up on it. And for those of you who have thumbed up my videos in the past, thank you. very much. I really do appreciate it. It does help me. And also, if you want to receive my future videos, tap the bell and you'll know when they're going to be released. So with all that being said, Sagittarius, I'm going to start your reading with this Major Arcana card. I pull one card. For those of you who haven't been to my channel before, I pull one card for an overall kind of energy, picture, kind of feel of the read itself. And you have today the Empress card here. And the Empress energy is all about, first and foremost for me, it's all about a representation of the Mother Earth herself. That's what the Empress energy is. But it can be on a kind of more mundane level. It can be somebody who represents or reflects to somebody else that they are the perfect female creation, I suppose. That person is everything to this person. They have everything that they want. They tick all the boxes. But also it can be about a creative idea, because the Empress energy is permanently pregnant with potential, just like Mother Earth is permanently pregnant with creativity and is constantly creating new life all the time, whether that's like for us or whether that's the plant kingdom or the animal kingdom. It's like it's permanently pregnant, with potential. So some of you Sagittarians out there could be wanting to fall pregnant, or some of you could be pregnant, or some of you could have given birth recently and you're now in this kind of motherhood stage as well. There could also be your own mothers as well, grandmothers, aunts, sisters. It does relate to that very feminine energy, although it doesn't have to just be for females. It can also be the feminine within the masculine as well, just as the masculine is within the feminine, and we need to kind of recognize that. But there is a feeling here of there being this kind of something creative being brought into the new. Like it can be a new idea. It doesn't have to be a baby. It can be a creative idea that is a form of giving birth to something. So that's the overall energy here, and it is very abundant as well, the Empress. She's very abundant and nurturing and caring and giving and motherly and very what's the word I'm looking for here? Very sensual. I'm feeling that there's a sensuality about this card as well for you today, Sagittarius. So let's see what's going on in the rest of your reading. At the heart of your reading today, we have this Two of Earth, also known as Two of Pentacles, Two of Coins. And she is literally balancing these two coins here, kind of juggling them, if you like, or balancing them. But today it came out for me very strongly as kind of focusing on this coin, and this kind of being the past. And so I think with this energy here as well, that this is about the new idea. If you look at her face, it's like she's kind of, it's almost like something that she hasn't been expecting. Something that's kind of, or she's made her mind up about. But this feels as though it's more in the past. It doesn't feel to me as though this is about kind of juggling two things as such, although it could be. But somehow I'm feeling this is more about moving forward with something and putting whatever that is in the past, whatever that situation, whatever this coin here relates to for you personally. It could be a relationship, it could be business, it could be friendship. But there is something I feel here that needs to be kind of put into the past, and something that's being kind of birthed here. That this is a new creation that's happening. A new focus of attention. It's like, yes, I choose this. I choose this. I don't want this anymore. I choose this. But it's not so much a decision. I don't feel it's so much that. I feel it's more about just kind of knowing that what is coming in is better than what you're letting go of. And it's come out with the 10 of Earth over the top as your obstacle and your challenge here, Sagittarius. And the 10 of Fire for me today is a 10, so it's a good card in the sense that this is ending, and I feel that this is what this is about. Again, this past, putting it in the past and leaving it in the past. But it's still a challenge in a way, because this is your obstacle. This is what you need to get over. And I feel as though each of these, if you see, they're like pages out of a book, and they're all aflame, they're all afire. And it's almost, it feels to me almost as though you're trying to grasp hold of this energy here somehow. Like you, almost like you feel as though, is there still something there that I need to bring into my future? Is there, have I forgotten something? Have I left something there? Is there a final message? Is there something that I've missed? That's the kind of energy that I'm feeling. So in some ways, although you've kind of made up your mind, it is almost like this past is still there, because you're not trusting. You're not trusting somehow that you can just focus on this, that this is going to even materialize for you maybe. So maybe there's a fear here as well that if you let go of this past, that you're going to lose this as well. Let's see what the rest of the reading says for you, Sagittarius. But that's what I'm kind of getting, that there's this kind of almost this grasping of wanting to bring something with you, almost like this fear, like I said, of what am I leaving in the past? Have I missed something? Is there something important that I still could bring with me, or is it going to make a difference? It's almost that kind of energy of you keep kind of looking for your answers in the past where they're not there anymore, which is why it's all on fire. It's why it's all kind of been set aflame, because it is kind of like, you know, releasing. You're letting it go, you are releasing it, but at the same time you're almost kind of, as you see it burning, it's almost like, oh, supposing that's really important, supposing I missed something. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting from this card today, Sagittarius. And so we have in your head and what you're aware of, patience or temperance. The relationship card, in the sense of an energy of having to kind of keep things flowing in a relationship. If there's no flow in a relationship, then there's no relationship. You can't just be the person who's doing all the communicating or all the listening or all the waiting. And I feel that this is what this card is about here today for me. It's waiting. There's been a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting, Sagittarius. If you see here as well, there is time clocks down here. There's another one. I'm sure there's a couple of them. There's one on her breast here, and there's another one just here as well, tucked away in this corner. So it feels to me as though this is kind of time is, I wouldn't say standing still, but there's this, it feels like it's been a long time. Like this, whatever this is, coming in, this past that's going, and this that's coming in. It's been a long time coming. And I feel as though kind of she's not really in some ways she hasn't really accepted it. She hasn't kind of, again with this energy here, it's almost like you haven't quite accepted that whatever that situation was, you are moving on from, that it's in the past, that it is no longer a part of your future. You need to move on and let it be, let it go. Because here she's kind of, I feel as though she's kind of stuck in that past. She's stuck in the sense of she's still looking, again, kind of, I feel as though she's looking for those answers in the past. Like her head's turned and she's looking down. So there's almost, there is kind of, I don't know if it's an acceptance or a kind of reluctance or a kind of like, yeah, this kind of, almost like she's given up the fight, I feel. Almost like she's given up. There's a kind of demure energy about this here for me today. This kind of sense of like, it's pointless. There's no fight left. There's nothing left there to fight for. That's kind of what I'm feeling. There's nothing left to fight for. Whatever it was is no longer there. There's no communication. There's nothing. And again, this doesn't have to be a relationship. This can be business. This can be family, friends. Just a situation in your life in general. But that's the kind of energy that I'm feeling. That it's kind of a sense of time to let it be. And you have moving away from you, the energy that's been around for a while is the Eight of Cups. So this is about, again, moving away from something. This boat is kind of representing life to me, and it's kind of looking a bit, I think it looks a bit, It could be that it's kind of coming in as a rescue rather than going away. And that you are kind of, this boat is representing your boat coming in, literally, like this new idea, this new kind of future. And you are literally kind of moving ahead into a new future. You know, you're literally ready to step on that boat. The boat is kind of getting closer. And whatever it is that you're leaving behind, it is behind you. You know, you've got your back to it here. And so you realise that this is something that's going to take you further away from where you thought you were going to be. So there's still this, I feel that this is still why this energy is here, because you're still kind of grasping at possibilities. Oh, it could be this, I could have missed this, and that could change the dynamic here, or, but it's like there's a part of you that knows that you have to just trust your future and walk away. Because you are just going to keep yourself trapped, because the 8 does kind of represent that energy of being trapped in something. And with the 8 of water, it's kind of being trapped in those emotions and having to kind of leave those behind. Well, you have down below, Sagittarius, in your subconscious. This card came out yesterday as well, but it came out in reverse. It came out for Scorpio reading I did yesterday in the exact same place, which is interesting. So if you've got any Scorpio in your natal makeup, you might want to go and check out that reading that I did yesterday for Scorpio, which does have a kind of similar theme in some ways. Upright. This to me is a kind of camouflage card. It's the card of kind of, and it goes along with this energy here for me of time kind of standing, like I said, not standing still, but kind of being so long, like it's been stretched out. It feels like time has kind of been stretched somehow. And you've kind of just become this this forgotten, almost shadow kind of part of yourself, Sagittarius. Like you're no longer vibrant, you're no longer who you used to be, you've kind of lost your creative drive even, in a way. There's a feeling here of kind of just, because the time has kind of expanded or been so drawn out, that you've kind of taken root in that energy of just waiting. Again, I just get this sense of waiting, and while you've been waiting, it's like the grass has grown under your feet. And now you're kind of camouflaged and you've become part of the surroundings, almost like you're just kind of disappearing into the background. And that's possibly how you feel, Sagittarius, with this situation. And it's come out with the messenger of fire as well. And I feel that this is your energy, this is your vibrancy, this is your creative self, this is your the kind of younger energy, the more adventurous in a way, more kind of charismatic, captivating, adventurous, more risk-taking kind of energy here. It is fire, so it's Aries, Sagittarius and Leo energy. But I feel today that this is your kind of energy, Sagittarius. This is more what's behind here. And it's almost like she's looking over at it. Or you yourself are looking over at yourself and kind of saying what's happened. Because this is kind of buried behind all this. And you're kind of saying what's happened. But it was a situation that you kind of had no control over, I feel, in some ways, Sagittarius. You kind of lost yourself in it. And you're still kind of trying to find the answers. But the answers don't lie in the past anymore. What you're seeking actually lies in your future. And kind of whatever you need, you will take it with you. And if you don't need it, then you don't need to keep it, really. And the energy that's moving in, we have two cards here as well, both air cards. The messenger of air, or the Knight of Air and the Knight of Swords. is usually a very quick, fast moving energy, something that happens very rapidly. But it's like she's waking up from a slumber. If you look at her face, it's like she's just beginning to wake, and I feel that that's what this is here. This is you waking up. This is your slumber. You have been sleeping through all of this. You've kind of been just going through the motions in a way, just kind of, you know, on autopilot. And now you're kind of beginning to re-emerge as this beautiful swan type creature, almost like you're coming out of that phase of kind of, I wouldn't say ugly duckling, but there's a kind of a representation there somehow, Sagittarius, of this energy of you being more, feeling like you were kind of out in the cold, unwanted, unloved, uncared for, neglected, just kind of forgotten. But this energy here is about you waking up to who you really are, to this energy. It's like you're waking up and remembering who you are and where you're coming from. And as you do so, with this 10 of air here, you release all this stuff that you no longer need. So you have two 10s here. The 10 of creative fire energy as your blockage and your challenge, and then the 10 here, the 10 of swords, the 10 of air. So that is definitely, I feel, some final endings happening here. So you are choosing now to move on, to release all of this emotional baggage, to release all of this stuff in your head that you don't need to take with you into your future. Things that I feel during this period of time here, of this kind of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody, for answers, for something to change even, and kind of really becoming more it's almost like, you know, it was a real kind of test as well, I feel, with this here as well. There was a test, almost like it was a test. It feels like it was a test to you, Sagittarius. Like you've been tested somehow. But it's like it's now time to move on. This is the past, but this is the recent past. So this is what's leaving you. But it is saying it's time to move on. And as you come to that decision, as you make up that your mind to do that and to focus on something new and something in your future, you release all of this past. And if you see here, it's kind of all these old, as she wakes up, it's like all these old feathers that are no longer needed in order to become something new. She has to release all of this old stuff, which can also represent this energy here as well. This old, kind of shaking off all this old growth. I think that's what this is about. The old growth you no longer need. So let's get some clarifying cards here, Sagittarius, and see what the messages are saying. Although they do seem pretty clear to me, it does seem to be quite straightforward. Although it's easy for me to say. It's never so straightforward when you're living it, when you're actually in it. So, let's see what we have here with the Two of Earth and the Ten of Fire. So because this is a general read, if anybody is interested in getting a private personal read where I'd go more in depth with your actual own story and what's happening in your life, there is in the description box down below a email for you to contact me on, and I will get back to you if you leave me your details. Just drop me a message, say hi. And also, if you would like to if you would like to comment, is the word I'm looking for. Oh, we've got so many cards. Why do we have so many cards? Why? Okay. We have the Death card in reverse. So this kind of saying to me that this is what was happening while all that waiting was going on. You were going through this change, this transformation. It's in reverse, so you may not have even kind of been aware that it was taking place because you were so focused on something else. But as that time was kind of continuing, this is what was happening on a deeper level. You were going through this deeper transformation. And it could also have been a reluctant transformation as well. There could have been you kind of fighting it or not necessarily wanting to leave the past and move into a different you even. For those of you who could have been aware of what was actually happening, you could have resisted it, shall we say. But it's hard to resist Pluto, which is this card here, Hades, kind of the representation of that energy. And we have the Seven of Wands in reverse as well. So with this energy here, so you might have felt as though you have been battling with other people's ideals, other people's beliefs, other people's viewpoints. And again, this could have been something that you kind of feel as though you had to do. You didn't have a choice. You were kind of in that situation and you had to kind of stand up for yourself. You maybe didn't want to. You maybe didn't want to respond or react the way that you ended up responding or reacting to something, because it's in reverse. It's almost like, you know, you feel as though you had to possibly behave in a certain way when it wasn't necessarily how you really wanted to respond. And we have the Page of Wands in reverse as well. So there's been a lot of fire energy here, Sagittarius. A lot of fiery, creative situations. This page talks of having to leave something behind. It is that energy of having to move forward into a different, or onto a different path, or because it's a page, it's a young energy, it's an energy that needs to be nurtured and taken care of. But again, it's in reverse. So you could feel, I get the feeling that it was just like this energy here, just like you just feel as though you just kept going over the same crap day in, day out. Like, you know, the sun would come up, the sun would go down, and it's the same thing here as well. The sun in the background, like the sunset or the sunrise It's like it didn't make any difference. It was just still the same story every time you woke up. It was still this same kind of something that was kind of slow and dragging on and kind of didn't have a lot of there was no real enthusiasm about it. It was like you lost all that kind of joy in your life, that kind of fire, that spark, which is again why I feel that this is kind of energies behind this here, because this is the page and this is the messenger. So this is the knight and this is the page. But this is kind of what's been hidden. And we have, oh, there's another card there as well, which I wasn't aware of. Okay, we have the 9, which is kind of what I was kind of feeling with this energy here, the nightmare card, the kind of same crap day in, day out. Having to deal with the same headspace, the same, nothing ever seemed to change. It was just like the same thing in the back of your mind, like you couldn't put it down, you couldn't move beyond it, you couldn't kind of drop it, you couldn't see beyond it, you couldn't, it was like it was there, this constant barrage of thoughts in your head which were just kind of driving you to distraction, making you feel like you were going a bit crazy maybe. Card of kind of insanity in some ways with the 9 here, because you've got these 3 furies here all pointing these swords at this character here, and he's kind of in this situation that he doesn't want to be in, but he doesn't know how to get out of it. So it could be even when you went to sleep, it would kind of plague you in your dreams. You may have had difficulty falling asleep or actually getting any sleep. It could have been a lot of insomnia, nightmares, fears, worries, stress, all that kind of thing, Sagittarius. And with the Emperor energy here, it's kind of saying to me that it was a very powerful situation. There was a lot of power involved in this. And almost like the power or the amount of energy that you put into this kind of fed it in a way with this Emperor card. And it's very kind of driving masculine energy card. It could represent yourself, Sagittarius, but I'm not really picking up on that so much, as it not being so much a person. I don't feel today that this is more an energy. It was a very powerful energy, an energy that you couldn't break out of. And then you've got this Chariot card here as well, which is saying that you've gone through something very powerful and you've kind of come out, or you're coming out the other side, having balanced yourself up a lot more, having kind of now balanced your head and your heart and kind of overcome this energy here with this 9 of Swords. You've kind of come to terms, and you're there. I feel as though you're a lot more determined now, Sagittarius. You've kind of got this power energy behind you now, and you're a lot more determined, and you know that you're in your driving seat and you're pushing forward. With determination. But you do kind of keep glancing back to see whether or not, and I feel that that's kind of, you know, this is what you kind of also are glancing back at to make sure that you're kind of ahead of the game somehow. So let's see why the patience card is here as well. Sometimes they just give you too many cards. So patience, why is it here, Sagittarius? For what purpose do we have the patience card? The waiting, the long, long, long waiting. It seems to have been an eternity, I feel, on some level. Not taking all them. Nope. A card, please, for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. Card for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. Why is the patience card here? Why is the patience card here? There we go, we have the patience card, we have more time out. Okay, so we have the Eight of Pentacles and we have the Four of Swords. As I was saying earlier, I think I was talking about this kind of this change, this transformation, this death. I feel that this is kind of what was going on in the background. What's in your head and what you're aware of is that it has kind of brought in this need for you to look at who you are and what it is that you want, rather than kind of waiting on what somebody else wants or wanting to kind of satisfy somebody else rather than yourself, or even just kind of hoping, wishing that somebody else is going to be a part of it. It's like you're sitting here now as this Four of Swords on your own, Sagittarius, with this kind of time out meditative energy. And it's like you are realizing that this is your life, that you have to work on your life, you have to do it. Nobody else can solve those problems for you or work things out for you. This is you dealing with each of these situations from the past, representations of kind of situations that you've experienced previously, and this is you now mastering this skill that I feel is going to take you forward. And it could even have something to do with this energy here, this two. This could be this coin here, your future, you working on your future. And as you're working on your future and as you're working on this energy, you're also working on your life as well. You're changing things. And you're doing it on your own. You've decided that you're going to move forward and do it by yourself here, Sagittarius. That then you can focus on your needs and not other people's, because this is the card of Temperance, don't forget, which is all about kind of wanting to and this Empress card can do that as well. The energy with the Empress card as well can be kind of nurturing and caring and for everybody else, but maybe ignoring your own needs in all of it. And especially with the Temperance card as well, because you want to kind of feed or balance out the other person as well, because it's that flow of energy, of communication backwards and forwards. It's like you want to give them all that you can, or you have done in the past. That has been kind of where you've been at with this, is you've kind of wanted to really maybe even mother on some level, this situation. If this is to do with a person, there may have been this sense of wanting to kind of protect them as well. I'm getting this with this kind of this here. And maybe even try and not stifle them as such, but kind of not allow them to experience things for themselves. But I'm kind of getting this kind of overprotective energy, and I don't know whether that was the person with you, Sagittarius, or whether that was you with the other person. But I'm kind of getting this overprotective energy, which kind of didn't work out the way that you were, like, not necessarily hoping, but thinking that it would. So now you're kind of taking that energy back, that communication and that kind of, you know, everything that you poured out, shall we say, into this other person, you are now focusing it on you and your needs and what you can do for you in your future. So let's see why the 8 of Water is here. Okay, quick. We have the Fool. New beginnings. Trusting in yourself, trusting in your new beginnings, trusting that this boat that is taking you away from this shore, from your past, is going to take you on a journey that is going to be just full of adventure. I could just kind of get this feeling of this is, you know, it's kind of going to bring this back out in you. The more you trust the bigger picture, the more you trust the universe, the more you trust that your path will open up for you as you take that first step and take that new path, that it will lead you to where you need to be, to your destination. And it's not going to be kind of direct. It's not, there is going to be twists and turns, and there's going to be lots of kind of different experiences along the way. But somehow now you can also, because you've got this eagle here, and the eagle has the ability to soar above and see the bigger picture, to look ahead and scan, if you like, the terrain that's coming up. And kind of, you can then kind of make a decision, a more kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of here? A more kind of, not calculated decision as such, but kind of a decision from a vantage point. So there is this new beginning for you, Sagittarius, after this amazingly long wait. Because this is the energy that's moving away. So you may have already, something may have already come in to shift that perspective that you've been in for so long, and to shift you out of this kind of waiting. And that's kind of what I was feeling with this here. It's like, yes, I will take this. I will have this new beginning. I am going to take my focus off of my past and put it into my future. That's kind of the energy that I'm picking up for you, Sagittarius, which is really nice. It's a lovely new start, a lovely place to be. Something fresh, something new, something unknown, which is also where the Fool comes in, the unknown and the trust. And to trust your gut instinct as well, because the Fool in this deck is kind of very kind of animalistic. There's a kind of intuitive sense with this Fool of recognizing on some level that he's still part of everything. He hasn't kind of disconnected himself. He hasn't kind of lost his connection to who he is. Whereas in this card you had, and we have the Queen of Pentacles come out here as well, which is again another very kind of motherly energy. The Queen of Pentacles, very nurturing, very caring. And this could, like I said earlier, this could have been your energy within this situation, whether this is a relationship or just a situation, are you kind of being the one who felt that you had to give your all into it? And you, because it's upright, you were prepared to do that as well, Sagittarius. You were prepared to nurture and care and look after and feed this energy. Because this is where it's coming from. This is the root cause. So I feel as though it kind of brought out that instinct in you, Sagittarius, somehow. And again, it doesn't have to be like a physical human baby. It can have been, it could have been a kind of idea. But something maybe now that you're having to put in the past. And I feel as well that there was kind of a need for you to recognise the value, or there is a need for you to recognise the value of what it was that you put into this, because I feel that because of this energy here, of you kind of feeling as though you were unworthy, unloved, unlovable, unwanted, that this kind of earth energy here of your natural mothering or instinctual need to maybe kind of take control of a situation somehow. You feel as though it wasn't valued. And maybe you need to look at your own value in that as well, Sagittarius. To do with this as well up here with this Eight of Pentacles, as I was saying about you focusing on you now. You putting your time and your energy into you. And so I think it's also saying you do have that ability. You do have the ability within you to do this, to nurture yourself, take care of yourself, be kind enough to want to look after you. And only then, when you look after you, instead of kind of putting your focus on somebody else all the time and wanting to look after their needs and their wants, it's only when you can look after your own first that you will then be able to just naturally, it will just come without a feeling of being having to, in a way. Or of it kind of backfiring, or of it kind of being overly protective. I still get this kind of overly protective energy about it. But you can nurture yourself here, Sagittarius, and maybe that's what this is about. You, I feel that that's what that is saying. That you need to nurture and focus on your pentacle here, because she's holding this one pentacle here as well. Again, you know, with this two here, representing this here, and also again here with him working on this pentacle. It's like this pentacle represents you, your future, your story, your creation. And that doesn't mean that at some point down the line you're not going to want to share it with somebody. I'm not saying that you're going to become completely like, this is mine and you can't have it. But it's saying at this moment in time that this is about you, looking after you and doing the best for you, Sagittarius, and creating something for you, rather than always kind of thinking of creating with somebody else or for somebody else. This is about your needs, your creation. What is it you want to achieve? Okay. There's that pentacle again. So the Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, Temperance again, the Five of Pentacles again, and the Five of Swords in reverse. Page of Swords is also in reverse. And this has come out over the top of this energy here, this releasing and shedding energy. It's kind of awakening from this slumber. But again, I feel as though it's more of a background story. With the Ace of Pentacles here being the kind of new idea that's coming in. I feel that the situation behind this, with the Ace of Pentacles being the kind of energy of something that was new. Aces are always a new energy. So it was a new energy that came in to do with money. But I feel as though with this Page of Swords in reverse here that there was very little discussion about it. Or the discussion that was had wasn't very productive. It didn't kind of go anywhere. It was just like these little bursts of air that didn't actually achieve anything around, I feel it's around money. Because we also have the Temperance card here as well, which is saying to me that there has been this kind of trying to resolve the situation. Trying to keep that flow, like I was saying earlier, that flow of conversation going. Trying to make something beautiful between the two of you. But somebody left the situation. Somebody walked away from it. Even though it was something very precious. With this Temperance card here, I feel as though it was something that was very kind of I just get this energy of something being quite precious to somebody, but they walked away from it. And with the Five of Swords here in reverse, I'm feeling that there is regret. There is regret here. Somebody's not happy about the decision that they made. It wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't easy to walk away. I'm going to pull another card actually here. I don't often do this, but I'm going to pull another good tarot to see why we have this kind of backstory. Okay, 7 of Earth. This is the energy that's moving in. So, so there may be, Sagittarius, a distraction coming in. Because this to me is a distraction card. This is a little kind of like, look at me, I'm over here. I've come back, or, and again, I feel there's a similarity here as well with it, with this, these two head dresses, like almost like this is somebody that you know, somebody who you are familiar with, somebody who you connect with, somebody who's kind of mimicking you in a way, or mirroring you, an energy, and you are here releasing all of this, going, I don't need this, I'm moving forward, this is my new direction, and then this comes back in. So this is you, Sagittarius, or this is you, cross watcher, and it's the other way around, but I feel more that this is you, Sagittarius, and this is your distraction. This is your past that you are trying really hard to put in the past. But now that you're trying really hard to put it in the past, it's kind of coming back round and saying, look, I'm still here. You thought you'd got rid of me, but I'm still here. So it is a distraction. It is something that you're going to kind of, yeah, just kind of be thrown by somehow, I feel, Sagittarius. It's like unexpected. You think that you are really kind of moving, and you are clearing, releasing, getting rid of, and really kind of like, yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm moving forward. I've got my new beginning, and I'm stepping onto my new path, and I'm like, hang about, what's that doing back? And it's kind of, you catch it out the corner of your eye almost, you know, it's kind of like, I'm going to pull another card. I don't usually do this, but I don't feel that that's a particularly good place to finish the reading for you today, Sagittarius. And I've still got a few more cards to go as well, so I'm going to have to speed this up. Okay, so 7 of Earth, what is he about, or it about? What is that distraction about? Why has the 7 of Earth turned up for Sagittarius? We have the 8 of Earth. Again, the 8 of Pentacles has come out again. And so because you've got this twice, I feel as though this distraction is about somebody coming back from your past and saying, let's do this together again. Let's team up. And we can both work together on ourselves. But together. And whether or not you want to do that, Sagittarius, is entirely up to yourself. But I feel very strongly that that's what this is about. And you may turn your back on it, and you may feel like, no, I'm just going to focus on this for me, because that's what I need to do. Or you may feel that you would work better if you're both on the same page. And I think that that's what this is about. It's about being on the same page. And you weren't on the same page before. Maybe that's also what this is saying as well. You weren't on the same page. But this is saying you could be. So I'm going to leave that reading there, because otherwise I feel I could probably do a few more cards, Sagittarius, but I'm not going to. I will do, though, a Moon Wisdom card for you and see what the Moon Wisdom card has to say about this particular situation. What is the message from the Moon Wisdom cards for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising energies? Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising energy for Sagittarius. 8 of Earth, 8 of Pentacles, twice. What is the wisdom of the Moon energy? Okay. It says, be bold and make the first move. Cardinal Moon. Be bold and make the first move. And I think that that's saying be bold and move forward. Make the first move forward. Not about make the first move back. Not about going into your past and trying to fix something. This is about being bold and making that move forward. And maybe when you do that, and only when you do that, is this energy going to change. If that's what you're wanting, Sagittarius. But be bold and step forward, I think is what it's saying. Be bold, take that first step on your own. And we have this beautiful card here. Transformation, butterflies, things changing. And for me, it's got this tiny little tree and this heart in the middle here, which is kind of, I feel, again, protective energy. Like there's a protection maybe around your whole situation at this time. Maybe to do with the situation, relationship maybe as well, that there's a kind of something's protecting it. So if you move forward boldly, it's going to come with you anyway. But it's called the Sunlight Blessing. And it says, a ray of light bursts through the cloud of uncertainty, and darkness transforms to light. A new day is born, and the first buds of spring appear. You are blessed with the birth of something new. A new season of your life begins with this very special blessing. So it is all about the future. It is all about the birthing of something new. This energy here, birthing something new, something creative for yourself, Sagittarius. I will quickly just hold that up for you to see. And so I didn't pull one of these, but I will do so very briefly. A card for Sagittarius for the Crystal Deva Kingdom. Connecting with the Crystal Deva Mineral Kingdom. Connecting with the Mineral Kingdom for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising. Connecting with the Mineral Kingdom. What is the best card here for Sagittarius? The Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising energy. Sorry about this, Sagittarius. I usually pull these before I've done your actual reading. It's usually already done. Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising, Sagittarius energy. Crystal Divas, thank you. What have you given us? Moldavite appearances. Interesting. I've read this one before. 27 talks about things not being as they appear, I believe. 27. It's green, it's the heart chakra energy. And it says, hurtling through space, red hot to the melting point, cutting through the atmosphere and plunging deep within the earth. Finally coming to rest, feeling the cool of the earth around us as we move into a solid state, so different than we were in our former home. There we were in constant motion, a moving active substance. Here we are still and quiet. So originally, moldavite is a meteorite stone. It's quite rare. I think it was from Romania. It landed in, was it Romania? Moldavia. Maybe that's why it's called moldavite, because it comes from Moldavia. But that's where this meteorite landed. And so there is only a certain amount of it. It's quite a rare stone. But it says, we are aliens here, strangers to your planet. It was our mission to make a very long journey to serve as confirmation for you that other worlds exist. The elements in our bodies are entirely different than those of Earth. It was known that scientists familiar with Earth materials would recognise that we came from the stars. Our external selves are very different from our internal selves. The outer opaque rivulets on our body were created by the heat we experienced on our entry. Obscured by our outer selves, our inner selves are a clear, unclouded green. We would be judged as gemstone quality by your earth standards. Our core is unflawed and clear, but it is hidden by our outer self. It is not the same with you. Your smile belies the pain within. A ravaged face may mask the beauty of the soul. A crippled body may disguise untapped abilities. Our message for you is about appearances. For example, your star brothers and sisters are quite different from you in body shape and substance. Though different in the outside, all entities spring from the same universal source of love. External appearances have nothing to do with the reality of any situation. What is important is the kernel of truth that lies at the heart. We see beyond appearances to look the homeless man in the eye and see the prince. To look beyond appearances is to touch the face of God. Within, beyond all outer shells, you are pure of heart, and so are all your kin throughout the universe. Yes, there has been distortion of the basic principles of love, truth and honour, but underneath it all, when everything else is stripped away, the pure soul appears. Millions of dollars are spent each year around the world to glorify outer appearances, regardless of the industry, cosmetics, fashion, plastic surgery or weight loss. The approach is to fix the external and achieve happiness, but none of it is long lasting. If the inner self needs nourishment, no amount of feeding the outer will satisfy it. I think that's what this card's about, which I was talking about, nurturing the self here. The inner self is the self of beauty, a beauty that has nothing to do with the shape of a face, smooth skin or a trim body. When will you see it, friends? It pains us to see you in such misery. If you've drawn our card today, perhaps you need to reassess the value of appearances. When you look upon us, let it remind you that you are more than your shell. Search for the gemstone within you. You will not have to look far. It is within your generous and kind heart. It is also within the heart of the unusual looking beings you call ETs. It is within those creatures on your planet that you find repugnant. There is beauty there. See the divine in those you revile. See the luminosity in those whose appearances repel you. They are your family. We assist your heart chakra by helping you accept the alien within yourself. This is the person inside that you deny, whose face or behaviour you try to hide. Even the word appearances gives you the clue. To appear implies that something seems to be not what it is. Do not be fooled by appearances. Looking beyond them and within, reach out to those who would have turned away from them. Love is everywhere. Do not miss it just because it is hiding behind an unattractive exterior. If you look with your heart's eyes, you will see it shining through sisters and brothers. We love you. So, Moldavite, Sagittarius, maybe that's what it's saying, is that you're needing to work on your heart chakra here. It's a heart chakra card. Maybe it is about releasing the past with love in order to be able to move on as well. And waking up to who is behind this as well. I feel that that's got something to do with it, this kind of hidden side of yourself. So I am going to finish the reading there though, because it has gone on a wee bit. Thank you very much for listening, and again, please subscribe to my channel, like it up for me, and tap that bell. And if you think that this could help anybody, please share it. I hope it has been of some benefit to you, and I hope that if you do share it, it will also be of some benefit to others as well. And also, in this time that we're in at the moment, is difficult time. Take care of yourself, Sagittarius, and if you can, take care of others too. Thank you. Hope to see you again soon.